we talk about Luke P a bunch, and then it pans to all the guys who are gonna come on for the Men Tell All that are like by the monitor, and it looks like West Side Story and the boys are ready to rumble. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. It's been a while since I saw you. Didn't see you last week because I was very sick and couldn't open my eyes, let alone trash talk Luke P. But now I'm back and better than ever and ready to talk about this Men Tell All episode. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe because I put out new videos every single week and it helps me a whole bunch. And Bachelor in Paradise is coming up. You better believe I'm going to be talking all about that. So let's get to the action. So before we even get to the men telling all, what we have to talk about is that first beginning part of the episode where Luke P comes back and it was just a lot. I feel like Hannah should be sponsored by Claritin at this point because the number of times she said clarity, like, that's a brand deal. And I'm not a big fan of violence, but I wanted Tyler to rock Luke P. Further observation about the guys, did anyone else notice that Jed's hairstyle is just a country version of Pauly D? Now I think we should just talk about the fact that Luke P brought a ring and was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna propose to her, it's such a big deal. And it felt like he was like, I'm doing this in spite of all the things that are wrong with her and that I disapprove of. Like, no honey, that's not a big gesture. The fact that you want to marry her isn't a big deal because guess what? All three of these guys want to propose too. So like, you're on the Bachelorette. This isn't like, you know, you met a girl at the 7-Eleven and all the other boys in town just want to ride at the rodeo and they don't have time to be settled down. Like, that's not what this is. Like, this is a show literally based on the fact that one of them is gonna propose at the end. And he's trying to, like, I guess, show his dedication to her when he shows up at that rose ceremony and he's like, I'll stand here all day. That's not endearing. That's a serial killer. Like, you're just gonna stand and watch her while she talks to other guys? Like, what are you gonna do? Pop a squat and just, like, stare at her? And he's all about, it's not fair to my heart, I need closure. It's not about you. Like, it's not about you. And Jed's face when he finds out that Luke P got sent home is just like a little country boy getting his first pair of boots, but in his case, probably the first time he got a guitar pick and realized that he could hide his emotions by just singing. And honestly, Hannah's been getting a lot of hate this season, and I don't understand it because, honestly, favorite Bachelorette to date, favorite episode of the show on it. Because who else has given us this sass, this comedy, this awkwardness? And the fact that she just freaking puts Luke in his place. I'll admit, I was kind of frustrated with her, how she was keeping him around when he was being so toxic. But I feel like, not to get too deep here, that happens in a lot of relationships. You know, you get gaslighted, you get emotionally abused, and you don't really know that you're in a toxic place until, you know, you're looking back and hindsight's 2020. So I forgive her for that, especially because she apologized and it was precious. But when she freaking comes for Luke P and he's like, you're breaking my heart. She's like, my heart's been broken over you like 15 times. A true goddess. You know, she's just not having any of it. She's talking back to him the whole time. And then she moves the freaking flower stand. Power move. Then we see all the boys like coming to surround Luke P because he's getting a little too spicy. And we see that Jed and Tyler kind of flank him on both sides. And then Peter goes to Hannah and is like comforting her. So it's like, who had the better move? Like, on the one hand, yeah, she needs to be defended. We need to protect Luke P because, like, who knows if he's gonna, like, try to go for her or something. But Peter's, like, doing the comforting thing. So that might be kind of a smart strategy. Luke tries to tell her who she is, and I'm just like, dude, you are digging yourself into that hole. It's so interesting to me because Luke says that he doesn't say a lot of things. Does he not know that he's on a show where, like, where you have cameras where we can literally roll the tape, like, we can literally play back what he says when he says he didn't say he was gonna remove himself from the situation? That's what caused the whole argument. How can you not remember how the argument started? Like, I'm baffled. And again, I don't want to get, like, too serious again, but I just think it's really important that I share that Luke P is a classic gaslighter. Like, this happened in one of my relationships. What they do is they convince you that you're crazy, that, like, they didn't do something, or that you're insane for feeling a certain way. They basically devalue your emotions and they take away any feeling that you are validated in what you are feeling. And it just bothers me because he's also really emotionally abusive and just not healthy in any way. So kind of what Hannah was saying, I don't want people to, like, look at this relationship and think this is normal, because it's not. And if you think that you're in one of these relationships, yo, hit me up. You can talk to me about it. And, like, if you just want to vent or, like, get some thoughts, I'm here for you. Or, you know, go to therapy. I go to therapy. We love therapy. We stand therapy because it really helps to get a third party's perspective. I know it's really helped me in like toxic relationships I've been in to see like, oh, this isn't normal. So okay, sorry, PSA, we'll go back to the laughs. So basically there's all this commotion about Luke P not leaving, and honestly I was so into it that I forgot that this was supposed to be a rose ceremony, and I wasn't even thinking about that, oh yeah, one of these boys is gonna get eliminated, but luckily that's not till next week. So now let's get into the men tell all. It's a very visceral reaction I have to Luke P, because the first like freaking hour I think was about him, and every time I see his face I literally get nauseous. Like, it's like looking at a villain, it's like looking at someone who, you know, from the past who's really hurt you, and it's a very visceral feeling. I want to know if anyone else feels this way. I know I saw a couple people on Twitter saying the same thing, but like it's just really uncomfy. And even my mom was saying this, that she thinks he's genuinely evil, like there's something wrong with him. And I've seen people being like, oh, they're bullying him or whatever. And I can understand that, like, he did have a lot of time, like, a lot of people were saying the same thing over and over again, and it did seem kind of, like, a lot and kind of extra. But he really does not treat people in a nice way. He doesn't go about things the right way, and if he genuinely does change how he acts, then I would agree with the guy saying that. If you change your behavior, then we could talk about it, but right now, no. Again, Luke trying to say that he never said that he would leave if she had sex, and it's like, dude, we just watched this rerun. Like, this clip has been playing a billion times for men tell all, and you're saying you didn't say it. Like, okay. Observation that I've never noticed before. So like obviously they show the audience and people are reacting to everything and like that's iconic, but some of them when Luke were talking were just so over it and just like looking at him like, and I realized that he can see that. Like, how uncomfortable would that be if like you're talking and you just see all these people who like are not feeling it, like, and he's still, maybe that's why he paused, because he's like, what do I say that will make these people hate me less? I genuinely think that he was so worried about saying the right thing because he didn't want everyone to hate him even more. And it's almost like he was a robot trying to remember how humans emote or like what to say, how to be a human being. Can we call in like Shane Dawson to do like a series on this? Because I feel like it needs to happen. We talk about Luke P a bunch, and then it pans to all the guys who are going to come on for the Men Tell All that are like by the monitor. And it looks like West Side Story and the boys are ready to rumble. The freaking cojones on this dude though, because he said something obnoxious, I don't remember what it was, and all the audience was like, like just like saying all the things, and he quiets them down. He's like, are you done? I think one of the true tales of or telltale signs that this dude's psycho is that Devin comes on and is talking about how he just wants a woman that's in a glass case, and Chris Harrison's like, oh, is that true? And he has to think about it. Like, no, dude, that's an easy question. Do you want a girl that's just gonna do whatever you say and be a robot, or do you want like a normal human being? That's not a think about it question. So then we get all our boys out and about to talk to Luke P, and I was a stan of Grant. Like, I know he was unemployed and people just thought he was there for the laughs, but I thought he was like a sweet boy, and he just had one of the simplest summations of Luke P's issues. He's like, dude, no means no. It's as simple as that. No means no. If someone says go away, if someone says don't talk to me, if someone says I'm not feeling it, take that at its worth. No means no. You know that the Luke P, that's like Loki mixed with Luke P, and I would never offend Loki in that way. You know the Luke P drama is or has been all-encompassing when you forget that Cam was a thing. Like, do you remember when we were so obsessed with Cam being insane and he took up a lot of our first couple episodes, and then I forgot that he was even a thing? That's how you know that this was an intense season. Then we had Jonathan coming in talking about how he's religious too and how they bonded over that, and he just had this really poignant message about how he thought that Luke was giving Christians a bad rap because the way he was portraying himself wasn't Christian. And I thought that was kind of, like, not nice, obviously, because he was putting him down, but I think it was a good point. Like, I worry that a lot of people are going to see this and think that all Christians are, like, slut-shamers and judge people and all this stuff and have, like, anger issues and are bullies, because we're not. And obviously none of us are perfect, and I don't want to, like, really bash on Luke P that much, because we are just seeing a version of him. But I think he had a good point, because we're not like that. I'm sorry. I, like, love all people, and, like, you want to have sex at a windmill? Go get it, sister. Way too much Luke time. I love that Hannah apologizes for it, because it's exhausting. In other news, did y'all hear that apparently Mike and Demi Lovato are flirting, and they might be, like, a new couple, which is a big deal since Wells and Sarah Hyland just got engaged? Like, we know that Twitter DMs can make love happen. And look, I know that everyone loves John Paul Jones, but did we need to bring him up to the hot seat? Because don't get me wrong, he was hilarious throwing the chicken nuggets around, and I think he's just a precious being and ray of light, you know, to see all his bloopers and stuff, but I just feel like he didn't warrant an interview. That being said, did bring up a memorable moment when this girl in the audience like was obsessed with him and then asked to cut a piece of his hair, and it was kind of a lot, but you could tell that he was not feeling it. Also, apparently Tyler got into an accident and caused like $19,000 worth of damages recently, so our boy has emotional intelligence, but like struggles with the 3-point turn. All in all, I get why people want Mike to be the next Bachelor, but I heard somewhere that he was like in clips for Bachelor in Paradise. I can't remember seeing him for sure. And while I think he is entertaining and like pretty sweet overall, I do think he is a little bit of a pot stirrer. Like he does cause a little bit of drama, likes to stir up a little bit of drama, so I'm just saying. And I'm just gonna end this with the fact that a lot of people were talking about how it was none of Luke's business to ask Hannah about her sex life, and even she herself said that, and I understand where she's coming from, but at the same time, if I'm dating someone, I want to know their sex life, and even though this is a weird situation, it makes sense to want to know if she's being sexually active with other people. People say focus on your relationships and everything. I just think that he wasn't so outlandish about asking about it. Obviously, he went about it the wrong way and had the wrong reaction and everything else was wrong. But the general asking, I think, wasn't the craziest thing in the world. That's it for my Luke P drama / men tell all summary. I'd love to know what your guys' thoughts about Luke P is, because I think a lot of people have been going back and forth. A lot of people just hate him, and I've also seen some people defending him. So I'd love to see what your thoughts are. Do you think he is emotionally abusive? Do you see gaslighting themes in his personality? I would love to know. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe, because as I said, we got the finale coming up. We got Bachelor in Paradise coming. I'm going to be talking all about that, and ooh, Bachelor in Paradise looks spicy. Subscribe.